because this is the breaking point. This is the one thing holding us back. And I kept hearing this voice in my head that was my block. That was the thing that was stopping me. And that was the biggest, like, I view it as like the devil's temptation. Hey beautiful people, I feel like it's been a hot minute since I made a video, and there is good reason for that. I think it was around this time last year, or maybe a little bit later on, I made a video about me breaking out of old habits, bad habits, and honestly I survived 2 weeks and then went back down the rabbit hole. And every time that this has happened, I have needed someone to relate to, and I haven't quite been able to find anything on YouTube that has helped fully in this scenario. There is a few videos out there, but I thought, what the heck, once I get through this, I'm going to talk about it myself. So I've got a few notes here because otherwise I will not stay on focus. I just know that. But I wanted to talk to you guys about my story with addiction. So in the past 6 or so months or more, I fell back into addiction and found a new one of alcohol. But I was also, that was, you know, every night, and quite a lot of it, it just builds up very quickly, and I honestly could not get out of it. And that was where I relapsed a year ago. And I would go on this roller coaster where I would like come off of it for a few days or a week or so, and then I would just go straight back into it, whether it was alcohol or it was weed. Like, it would just come back with vengeance. And I honestly threw myself a self-pity party and stayed in it for a while. And then I realized this was just not the life I wanted to live. I've always known that. I've always been quite a healthy and fit girly. And I noticed my face, like my skin was almost grey. I noticed myself just being lethargic every day, not having the same creative ideas. I let go of like my whole business ventures. I stopped posting on Instagram. I was living day-to-day life under the spell of these addictions. And honestly, they were like the masters of my life. So everything revolved around them. And I was drinking like 8 to 9 drinks a night. I work at a brewery, so it was easy. Like, I'm like, yeah, this is just the life I'm living now. But I was so unhappy. I fell into like this trance of like depression, but I couldn't recognize it because obviously addiction, especially drug addiction, suppresses emotions. And that was, I realized that was that's how the addiction served me. And that's what it brought to the party when I needed to suppress my emotions, which you should never suppress emotions, obviously. But when I felt I needed to suppress emotions, because I was still going through burnout and I still had all these like thoughts and I just wanted to escape from reality, that was my escape. That was the thing that I went to because I knew I couldn't break. I knew I couldn't fall fully. And so all of that emotion just got pushed to the back of me, and I thought I was doing okay, and then it seeps through the cracks, you know, because it comes out in your health. And for me, and my family see it every time, is I go like ghost. And they're like, are you on drugs again? And I'm like, yeah. So I don't talk to my family when I go down that rabbit hole. Talking about getting sick of my own shit, that's the point that you have to get to. You have to get sick of your own shit to be like, I can't do this anymore. This is not the life I want to live. I have all these dreams and desires, and I am choosing to live in this weird current reality where I am suppressed by all of this stuff. And I remember thinking night after night when I had time to myself and I'd isolated myself, all these thoughts like, when I get over this, I'm going to make this my power. I'm going to get through this. And then I would go out and I'd, you know, and I mean, like, I would sit at home by myself And I mean, I would go out into the garage or outside and smoke. Like, I wasn't even going out with friends. I just completely isolated myself, cut myself off from the world. The socializing that I got was at work, and that felt like an energy battle for me personally. And I loved just getting home and unwinding, relaxing. And I would think, I don't want to be this person. I don't want to, and it was like this little me was inside going, I don't want to be this person. And it took me to the point, the brink where I went, I'm so sick of my own shit. I don't want to do this anymore. I felt like there was never a right time to give up. I kept convincing myself there was never a right time to do it. I'm like, oh, once this is done, or once this event, or like blah, blah, blah. Like, I would just keep making excuses for myself. And I had to turn that mentality when I got sick of my own shit. I had to turn that mentality to, it is always the right time. It is always the right time to give up those bad habits. It's always the right time to give up addiction. And it is not an easy thing to do. I thought about going to rehab, and I thought, no. Okay, if I can do this by myself, if I can get through this by myself, this time, if I relapse again, and I said this to my family, so it made it real. I said, if I relapse again, I will take myself to rehab. I will give up the life I'm living and just completely go to rehab, get well. And I didn't want to do that because I'd worked so hard, and it scared, the thought of just stopping everything scared the hell out of me. So I just took it on the chin and I went, we're going to do this. And it was not easy, because if you think about all those suppressed emotions, they're not like disintegrating into the winds. They're not gone. As soon as you give up that addiction, and I don't mean to scare anyone who is wanting to recover or is in recovery or whatever, but all those emotions come out. It's like a jack in the box. It's like, hello, you've been hiding me in your body. And honestly, it hurts your joints, like your joints and everything. This is the experience I had. I'm not going to say your, actually. I'm going to say my experience when I gave up. I felt it in my whole body, and I felt it was like this feeling of like things trying to break free. And because this is the breaking point. This is the one thing holding us back. And I kept hearing this voice in my head that was my block. That was the thing that was stopping me. And that was the biggest, like, I view it as like the devil's temptation. So when I was emotional spiraling, when I decided to make the choice to actually give up and go, no, I've had enough, I obviously brought in ways to cope. And this is what I like, if I can help somebody else with ways to get this out of their system quicker. And I'm not going to be like, do a detox drink, do this, because I don't think that is the right approach. Personally, I don't think that bringing in things to detox the body of the substance, yes, if it's helpful for you, go ahead. But I think that that's giving too much energy and power to the addiction. And I didn't want to do that. Yes, I had a green tea here or there, but it was more so for me because I felt like a green tea. I felt like a juice. You know, I wasn't actively being like, I'm getting this out of my body. I didn't make it about the substance. I didn't make it like, I didn't glorify this addiction. I didn't glorify the substance. I made it about me and my health and my well-being. So habits, I want to quickly touch upon habits that are of a similar frequency. So something I noticed, I've always been a really healthy eater. I love healthy foods, like love them. And I found myself ordering fast food all the time, especially Uber Eats. And I wasn't taking care of my body. I wasn't really drinking water. I was drinking more fizzy drink at work. When I wasn't drinking, I was drinking fizzy drink. I even had a Red Bull at one point, and I haven't had energy drinks since I was a teenager, I reckon, or like early 20s. And all of those habits, like, you know, the smoking, the drinking, the putting all these harsh chemicals into our body through our foods that we're eating, and ordering Uber Eats and not getting up and doing stuff. My house was a bloody mess. Those are all on a similar frequency. They all kind of vibrate on this kind of same vibration. But to change all of those habits, and it seems like a lot when you're in the bulk of it, but you can't just remove habits. And I read this in Atomic Habits. That's the first book I've read this year, and I'm glad I did because it helped me on this journey so much. So Atomic Habits by, oh my gosh, I don't have the book here because I gave it to my mum to read. James Clear, I feel like that's right. Yeah, Atomic Habits by James Clear. That helped me a lot. I took what felt natural to me from that book, and one big thing was replacing habits with better habits, because you can't just remove a habit, because then there's a void. There's a void of nothingness, and that back into the habit that you've just removed, because there's nothing to fill that void kind of thing. And so habits that I brought back in because they're on a higher frequency and they felt good to me, and this took discipline and consistency to just do it, and then as soon as I'd done the habit I felt so good, with things like exercise. It's good for somatic healing. Same with yoga. I do exercise, yoga. They really help move the body and get those joints, like getting all that energy out, because obviously we hold all of that suppressed emotion in our bodies. And I made a morning routine and an evening routine. So whatever happened in the middle of the day, it's okay, because I had that morning to myself. I did the things like the exercise, the yoga, the meditation and visualization are really helpful, because yes, you can visualize this beautiful life that you desire. And I did start off by doing that, but then I realized, hang on, I want to take it a step back, and I just want to visualize myself in this house, being healthy, going about my day, doing the things that I want to do. And then it was convincing my brain that I wasn't a drinker, I wasn't a smoker. It made me realize, like because your brain can't tell the difference between what you're actually doing in your physical reality and what you're doing in your mind's eye. And this is, a lot of people have spoken about this, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Neville Goddard, like all of that. And so I would visualize myself healed, not addicted to a substance, living my healthy life, exercising, doing yoga in this house, and in the now. And so it made things so much easier. I also did affirmations. I am very much a believer in, you need to hit it from all the learning points, kinesthetic learner, auditory learner, visual learner. And so I hit it from every point of view. Now, I'm a kinesthetic learner, and I have this practice that I do called act as if. And it's like when you're young and you play like doctors or mums and dads, and you imagine it. And I live alone, so it wasn't that weird. So I would just literally imagine talking to a camera about my journey, about my recovery. And now here I am doing that. And it gets you in that feeling and that mindset that you've already done it. Another thing that I brought in, and I have a love-hate relationship with this, because I don't know, I just prefer the visualization, the yoga and the movement, but something that really helped me, and I can't argue with it, is breath work. Breath work has been such a godsend for me, because you are calming the nervous system, you are actively breathing in and out, and especially with smoking, that's what you do, you're breathing in. And I feel like a lot of it is to do with the long inhale and the long exhale. And so I've also created a meditation that I started to do by myself. It's on the Divine Olimar YouTube channel. It's called Releasing Old Energy, like the blow smoke meditation, which blow smoke because you're not smoking anymore. It just got it out of my system. So I've kept up breath work, even if it's just 5 minutes. And that's the same with anything. I wasn't doing long workouts and pushing myself through them and all of that. I would tell myself, if I didn't feel like doing a workout or yoga or meditation, I'd be like, okay, well, let's just get on the mat. Let's just do 2 minutes. Let's just do 5 minutes. If you can get through this, then you've done it. And I would do that. And now, yes, I still have days where I just want to do a quick 5-minute ditty, but I find myself going, oh, I want to push myself. I want to do 15 minutes, and I'm enjoying it a lot more. A lot of the workouts I've been doing, I used to love writing out my own workouts, but I wanted to take the pressure off myself. So I've been doing I've done a couple of Mad Fit, but I really love the Blogilates workouts and the Lily Sabri, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I find those ones are really good. And yoga with Adrienne, always. I've been doing yoga with Adrienne since I was a teenager. I love her. She just brings a different type of energy to yoga. It's not so, and now we do a downwards dog, Sometimes you just need a little bit of chillness in your yoga. Probably the biggest thing out of all things you could potentially do is drop the harsh critic in your brain. Like, I know that a lot of us, when we are trying to cut bad habits out or addiction, we are so harsh on ourselves, and I do it to myself. I did it to myself, very much so, where I would tell myself, like, it was almost like self-hate and like a drill sergeant, like, you can't do this, you know. And honestly, it would hit the point where I'd be like, oh, you're just gonna stay like this forever, like, you're just gonna be a drug addict, you're just a no-hoper, like, and this stuff does not help, because it just makes you want to suppress your emotions. It just makes you want to be like, screw it, what's the point then? And that is so, like, counterproductive. So instead, parent yourself. Listen to that inner child. Like, what do you need? Like, do you need that supportive, like, you can do this? You need to balance out that you can do this, like, I'm here for you, I will hold you, and that, like, you've got to keep going. Like, do the workout, do the thing, you've got this, do it. You need to stay disciplined, you need to stay focused, like, kind of thing. You need to get that happy medium. And this is where, for me personally, and I'm only going to touch on this, but God, connecting back with God and trusting God and giving it to God really helped. It really, honestly, just, it gave me that parental feeling where he was by my side and I did not feel alone. I'm going to get emotional now because I walked away from God. And so I kind of gravitated back towards that. After all the spiritual stuff, I was practicing tarot for a while, and like a couple of other, like, I call it dark magic now, because it honestly, like, cool if it works for you, go over there, like, but for me personally, it did not help. It sent me down this rabbit hole. I feel like there was a lot of dark energy that was trying to guide me. Whenever I used tarot, like, I would just get so down on myself and be so harsh, because I felt like the cards were just telling me that I was gonna fail, and that there was a strong battle and it was a bad battle and like all of this shit. And I was like, wow. And it kept me in this weird, like, spiritual warfare. But I don't want to go too much into that, because this is not what it's about, the video is about. But I stopped using them and I just went back to God and I focused my eyes on him and I said, help me through this. I take refuge under your wing, you know, I need you, you're my salvation, my honor. And like scripture, I put scripture all over my mirror that was going to help me through this. I've got it on my phone. Hang on, where is it? Like, I've got it on my phone. I don't know if that's like that Psalm 46:5 really helped me. But turning back towards him helped me to parent myself, because I felt like he was parenting me. I don't know if that makes sense. The next topic that I wanted to go into was friends and family, because I just touched upon that. I just kind of talked about that. But friends and family, it's always good to ask them for understanding and support. Like, it, you know, if your family is going to be there for you, but don't take it to heart if they can't understand. If they might not be able to, you know, and everyone's experience, even if you've got someone in your life who is battling through addiction, if they're still in it, they're not going to understand as much. If they are out of it, they still might not understand, because it's your journey and everyone individually experiences it themselves, and emotions and everything that comes up during that time. That's how I felt in myself. And because like all of these harsh things that I had blocked out, and that I had, like, my self-hatred I'd blocked out, all came back, and it just, it hits you like a truck. And sometimes people won't understand that. They won't be able to understand enough from your perspective. And if you start to get angry at that, if you start to really feel alone in it and feel like no one understands you, and that, you know, you have no support, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to be able to get through it, because this is your journey. And I'm going to be a little bit tough love right now, but you need to take accountability for that, and you need to know when to remove yourself because it's not helpful, because you don't feel it's supportive. And that doesn't mean that they don't love you. It doesn't mean that they don't care and they don't want you to get through this. But it is your journey, and you need to know that they're there, but you need to take accountability on for yourself to heal, because it's your journey. They don't understand it. Like, that's okay. That doesn't mean they don't want to be there for you. And you can tell them, like, oh, it'd be nice if you did this, or oh, it'd be nice, I just need a little bit of space. You know, that's easier for them, because don't make your family and friends do the battle for you, because it won't work. Because you can't have, like, a crutch for this. You can't, like, you have to be your own crutch. It's like if you broke your leg and you expected your mum to walk for you. If you expected your mum to get on the crutches and you'd be fine, like, no, that's not how it works. You have to work the crutches. You have to do it. And that's exactly with addiction. You have to do the walking, otherwise you haven't actually been through it. You know, you're just going to topple back in because it's so easy, because you don't understand, like, yourself. I don't know if that makes sense. Realize, okay, I don't think that this is helpful. It's not their fault. They love me. I know that. I just need to take a step back. And sometimes your emotions will try and tell you different. And this is where your logic needs to come in and go, no, they do love me. And I might not feel it right now, but that's okay, because I know that they do. And I need to have discernment here to walk away for a little bit. And if you're feeling alone, this is where I bring in God. This is where I brought in God, because when I was feeling alone and I was on my knees, like, and I mean it, like, not metaphorically, I was genuinely on my knees, bawling my eyes out in my kitchen, screaming at God, going, I need you, I feel alone. And all I heard in my head is that I'm here. I'm here. And I realized in that moment, oh, I'm not alone. You know, he has me. And then I would give it to God. I would give all of the harshness and all of that feeling to God, and I would be like, okay. And I felt like a weight would just lift off my shoulders, and that I was okay, that I was being held, and I was under the shadow of his wing, you know? And I would ask him if I was feeling about something. I'd ask him to show me scripture. Now, I might actually, do I want to show you guys the scripture? No. I'll talk more about scripture in another video, because this is mostly for addiction. But I will show you guys my stats, because I didn't actually want to make this video until I fully knew that I was kind of out of the woods, so to speak. Like, the first couple of weeks is the hardest. But I'll show you mine for both. Actually, it's coming up. Oh, yeah. So those are my stats right now. I hope that's visual. Yeah, so we're doing good. If you are going through addiction or recovery, like, you're not alone. Genuinely, you're not alone. You might be having your individual journey. You might be experiencing something and feel like no one understands. Get out of that victimhood mentality, because they're not supposed to. This is your journey. Like, that's just the way it is. But you are so loved, and even if you don't turn to God, you know, there's a higher power helping you. There's bigger forces than you know that are supporting you and rooting for you on this journey, and they will guide you if you let them. Take care of yourself, alright? Like, this is not an easy journey. It's not an easy battle. Addiction is a disease, but I don't want you to fall into that, because every disease is curable. And don't come for me, because, yeah, but addiction is definitely curable. And it's when you decide that you're sick of your own shit, and when you take the steps that feel right to you to get through it, you know? We're in this together, guys. We might be living different experiences of it, but we're all battling a similar battle. So I hope that somewhat this video may have helped you, or helped you understand a family member or friend going through a similar thing. But yeah, Here's to a new life. Here's to a new me. Okay, guys, like and subscribe if you want to, but I won't hold it against you if you don't, because this is my journey and this is my page, and I feel very free now. I feel like I'm just going to create because of the sake of creating. But yeah, have a good one. Bye.